Okay, so this is a pretty unknown ship. Not a lot of people know about. Wait, you know about the Titanic? Alright, it's like the most famous ship ever. Well, just grin and bear it for now. In the late 1900s, two businessmen would meet up in order to discuss what they would build next. One of them was the chairman of White Star Line, and the other one was chairman of a shipyard. They both decided to make an upgraded version of their previous ship. Construction began soon after on both Olympic and her sister, Titanic. On April 10th, Titanic set off on her maiden voyage. After nearly colliding with the ship the SS City of New York, she was able to head to Cherbourg, France, and then to Queenstown, Ireland, before making way for open ocean. As soon as she made for open ocean, her builders, the captain, and the CEO of White Star Line were all very surprised at Titanic. She was going a lot faster than expected, and there is speculation they might reach the New York lightship a lot earlier. Let's hope that if that happened, it wouldn't end up like Olympic. On the 13th and 14th of April, the lifeboat drills were cancelled both times, mainly just because they didn't want to lose their speed, even when the ship wasn't sinking, raise the lifeboats, and then take off again and have to regain all that lost time. On the 13th of April, the Marconi machine burnt down, but with some rubber tape they were able to fix it. Wait, but then they could have used their emergency one, and Titanic Honor and Glory pointed out that then they wouldn't have told the Californian to shut up, and then it might have been online when the ship. Okay, never mind. However, in the night of April 14th, 1912, at 12:40 a.m., the ship struck the iceberg on its starboard side, creating history. Despite this, the Titanic actually continued sailing on as if nothing had happened, although a damage control party was sent down to assess the damage. They concluded that the ship would indeed sink, but they decided instead just to get everyone on deck, and the evacuation was not so organized. It's now 12:59 a.m., or probably by this time 1, and at this time now, the Titanic has begun venting steam from its boilers in order to prevent an explosion. If an explosion actually did happen on the Titanic, it's unlikely we would have ever been able to actually get any eyewitnesses, and instead the most likely cause would just be that everyone died. The Titanic now only has 1 hour and 40 minutes afloat, and they've just now launched their first lifeboat. They've now got only 40 more minutes afloat, and the RMS Baltic, which will not be able to reach them in time, none of them will, is now confirming that they are on their way, which, well, took them long enough. Also, the one of the officers fired off their pistol, but we don't know if anyone died, so don't take every movie as fact, kids. It is also at this time that a lifeboat almost crushes another. In fact, this was kind of a foreshadowing to the bad luck the lifeboats on Britannic would bring. Man, Olympic-class ships and lifeboats just don't get along well. They've now got only 10 more minutes afloat, and just now, Lightoller has been swept from the sea in that little lifeboat you can see there. He was swept from the sea due to air escaping from an air duct. As well as that, J. Bruce Ismay, the CEO of White Star Line, has now left the ship because he sees no women on board. In reality, he was very wrong. They've now got only 1 more minute afloat, and the most horrible thing happens. The Titanic splits in half due to all the weight being put on the stern of the ship. Both of the funnels collapse, and the ship eventually sinks down into the North Atlantic. After an inquiry was held, a big change to maritime law came. All ships needed to have enough lifeboats to house everyone. A ship needed to be as far away enough to respond to another one in the case of an emergency, And as well as that, ships had to have more bulkheads, and, well, a ton of other changes that I cannot list in this video. We don't really know what happened to the lifeboats, and as well as that, we don't know much background about some of the survivors. However, the last one did die in 2009. In 1985, Dr. Robert D. Ballard successfully located the boiler of Titanic. Eventually, they came across the starboard side of the bow. They were so happy. For the past couple of decades, people had been dreaming of ways to raise the Titanic, but they never expected it to be split in half. Well, yeah. They were very wrong, and it's likely Titanic will spend the rest of her days on the bottom of the ocean. And that's pretty much where we are today. In fact, an expedition was recently cancelled to the ship because of COVID. I don't know what they were trying to do down there. It might be something about the new fish species that was discovered near the wreck. Anyways, this video was dedicated to the 1,500 people that died on the RMS Titanic in April 14th, 1912. All the footage in this video has been made by Titanic Honor and Glory and is not mine. The victims will forever be remembered as the ghosts of the abyss.